Hey folks, James Abrinio coming to you from Abrinio Law, and in this video, let's talk about health insurance liens. And specifically, the question posed is, will I get more money if I have to pay a health insurance lien in my Virginia car accident case? So these are situations where you're looking at settling your case. It turns out that you use your health insurance to pay part, if not all, your medical bills, and you're wondering, are you going to have to reimburse the health insurance company? And it turns out that you have to, and you want more money. So the first question that I have to pose is always, number one, you have to be aware whether or not you're going to have an actual health insurance lien in your case. Now, typically speaking, Virginia applied something called, or traditionally speaking, Virginia applied something called the anti-subrogation rule. Essentially, what that meant is that health insurance companies were barred from seeking reimbursement if it turned out that you got money in your auto insurance case. Now, that has since changed. I've been practicing about 15 years, and it seems like health insurance liens have become more ubiquitous, and I think health insurance companies are evolving. So, first of all, if you have certain types of health insurance policies, we know that there's going to be a required reimbursement. And so that typically is when we're talking about government-sponsored healthcare plans, so Medicare, Medicaid, FEBA, or the Federal Health Benefit Plan, TRICARE, those kinds of plans, you'll definitely have to pay a health insurance lien. So just be aware of that. Now, there may be other policies that don't require it. So if you have just a typical private policy, you may not require it. So let's say you work for a tech company and you just bought their private policy. Now, just to be aware, some health insurance companies, quote, got smart. And what that means is they've written their policies in federal law to essentially get out of Virginia anti-subrogation. So if you have a health policy that, number one, is fully funded, and number two is ERISA plan, a federal ERISA plan, they very well may likely require and have a right to a lien. So just be aware that and be on the lookout if you use your health insurance plan that you may have a lien even if you have a private policy. So just keep that in mind as you're working through your case. Now, just to be clear, if it turns out that there's a health insurance lien, and that's the premise of this video, you're not going to be able to get more money from an auto adjuster, from the auto company, simply because you have, and solely because you have the health insurance lien. And why is that? If we go to trial on your case and I present your case to a jury, I don't get to tell a jury that you have health insurance lien. Anti-subrogation again kicks in, and it just is not allowed, admissible at trial. And adjusters know this, they know the law. And unless you have some legal basis to use your lien as a process or a reason why to get around that rule, they're just not going to give you more money on it because it doesn't matter. It's just something they're not required to factor in, and so they're not going to give you that benefit. Now, I want to be clear. Yes, it is unfair. It's unfair that you've paid your health insurance policy for however long. You've paid your auto insurance policy, and now you're using these, and then all of a sudden your health insurance is going to be asked to be reimbursed later on if you get money in the car accident case. Yes, that's unfair. But the reality is you will save money if you use your health insurance, even if you have to pay a lien. And I always tell people, I use my $100 medical bill example. And what do I mean by this? Let's say a hypothetical situation where you have an auto claim and you have a $100 medical bill. Under Virginia personal injury law, you're going to be able to claim for that $100 plus pain, suffering, and inconvenience. Now, if you've used your health insurance for that same $100 bill, your health insurance gets a negotiated rate. So they're not paying that $100 bill. Let's say they're paying $40. Maybe you have a $5 copay. That bill is taken care of, and now you've claimed for the $100 bill plus pain, suffering, and inconvenience. If we end up getting money and you have to reimburse, you'll be reimbursing at the $40 mark, the $40 rate. So that's much better for you at the end of the day than you having paid that bill directly for $100. So using your health insurance is super useful. It protects you, it gets you access to care, but it also allows you, if you haven't have to reimburse them, you reimburse them less rate. So be smart, use your health insurance, and recognize, even if it seems unfair, that it ends up benefiting you. Now, a question I often get is, James, well, what if I don't have a notice of lien? I'm getting ready to settle the case. my health insurance company hasn't reached out. I know it's not a Medicare or a FEBA policy or one of these where we know there's going to be a lien, there's going to be required. I always tell people that it really depends. We can take a closer look. What we could do is affirmatively reach out to the health insurance company to see if they're going to claim lien. But some people don't want me to do that. They're worried about me ringing a bell that wouldn't otherwise be wrong. And so the question is, what should we do with it? Now, if I don't have notice of a private policy, one where I'm not aware that there's going to be a lien, and one that it's not a federal policy, I don't have notice, I can, if I'm representing you, I can settle the funds and give you the money. I don't have any obligation. And that being said, if I'm aware of a lien, then I actually have an ethical obligation to the insurance company. It's kind of ridiculous that the ethical obligation sticks to me, the attorney, but insurance lobbies have a lot of money and they've managed to get that into the ethical rules. But I have an ethical obligation. But if I don't have that lien notice, then I can pay you the money. Now, caveat, if I end up paying you the settlement funds, or let's say you settle your own case, you may get a bill later for this lien. If it turns out it's a lawful lien, it's a proper lien, you may very well get a bill later. And what's interesting is if you don't pay it, there's going to be things that happen. Number one, you're going to get sued, just like any other contract for money. You're going to get sued, and you're also going to get kicked off your health insurance plan. So I highly recommend don't ignore the possibility of health insurance liens. It can end up biting you pretty badly in the end. Also, if you're wanting to think about what the fair value of your case is, know all the numbers. That way, if you end up settling it, you can at least do so knowingly, intelligently, and you've had to consider it rather than at the end of the day just getting bitten in the butt because later on you end up making less money. So hopefully this video is useful. Go ahead. Here's my information if you want to reach out, website, phone number, all that. And you can also check out other videos we shot on YouTube, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. I wish you guys the best, and hopefully this was useful. Thanks.